So why would you develop an iPad app? The reason why it's important to develop apps for the iPad is because the iPad points the way that the entire computer industry is heading. It simply is the most innovative platform available for mobile computing. The iPad is a game changer because it bridges the gap between a mobile smartphone and a laptop. It's completely changing the internet as a publishing medium. Even high-profile magazines such as Wired and The New Yorker now offer app versions, and some magazines appear only on the iPad, such as The Daily. It's also changing the publishing industry with regard to electronic books, and the software industry with regard to applications, as well as the mobile device industry with regard to the overall digital media experience. If you are in the software industry, or if you want to be in the software industry, you must consider developing for the iPad. iPad apps are not that different from iPhone apps in that they are also bite-sized and focused on tasks, which makes them easier to understand and design. They're simple but not simplistic. This makes app design and implementation much easier and faster, and you don't need a 20-person project with endless procedures and processes and meetings to create something valuable. The free software development kit makes development as easy as possible. You develop the code for both an iPhone and an iPad version of your app using the same SDK. In fact, you can reuse most of the code and simply develop separate user interfaces for the iPhone and iPad versions. The iPad has other advantages that are important to you as a developer. Number one is that you can distribute your app through the App Store. Apple will list your app in the iPad section of the store, in the category you specify. And of course, the store takes care of credit card processing, hosting, and downloading, just like iPhone apps. Developers name their own prices for their creations or distribute them free, and Apple gets 30% of the sales price while you get 70%, just like an iPhone app. The developer program is the same. It costs $99 a year for both iPad and iPhone development. You don't have to pay twice. Another reason is that the iPad has become an acceptable business and individual productivity tool, in part because it has tight security as well as support for Microsoft Exchange and Office, but even more for its design as a handheld mobile computer. Using an iPad with a customer to interact with information is a lot more engaging and cool, and it helps salespeople close faster. Automobile finance companies, for example, can begin the credit application process while the customers are standing right next to the car they're buying. Doctors and nurses at hospitals are beginning to use iPads to view X-rays and CT scans and read medical records while standing next to the patient. This widespread adoption expands the possible audience for your iPad app.